Welcome back to the Wrestling Mindset Podcast. I'm Gene Zanetti, your coast to coast mindset coach, bringing you the best available wrestling specific mindset information anywhere in the world. Wrestling Mindset. Thank you guys so very much for joining us with another great podcast. We're constantly pumping out great information for you. And I wanted to let everyone know that we've taken things to the next level. We've released a do-it-yourself program, the full Wrestling Mindset program, all the worksheets, all the exercises in a simple do-it-yourself format. We've also created different bundles for those of you looking for specifically mental toughness or aggressiveness or peak performance. We made it very simple. It's so easy to use. Go to the show notes, click at the bottom of the show notes. There's a link there. Make sure you sign up and buy it today. Great information. Make sure you capitalize, and we hope you enjoy the show. Mindset makes the difference.
Hello, Ohio RTC friends and family. Travell Dolognev here. Welcome to Mental Monday, brought to you by Wrestling Mindset. So for today's Mental Monday topic, we will be talking about internal kind of building the self-culture and what to do with criticism when it comes along. So first, building a culture, building a culture in your mind, building a personal, intrinsic, motivated culture. So it starts with a belief. You have to operate any culture. When you talk about culture, all it is a belief that above all else will dictate your decision making above anything else. So when you talk about like a company's culture, a team's culture, all it is a belief system that people will sacrifice their own personal momentary satisfaction or even own personal beliefs in that moment, and they will defer to a belief among a group of people. So how do you do that for yourself? First, you have to land on a belief that can't be taken away from you. So obviously, other videos I've talked about, things that you should be motivated by, things that probably aren't as strong motivators, but to narrow it, to kind of, broaden it, it should really be something personal, but it's very important that it can't be taken from you. And what I mean by that is your belief of your culture can't be based on something so finite as that someone can prove you wrong for. So let's just give an example. So if the culture of my mind is I am basing all my fight and all my effort on the idea that I am the strongest wrestler ever. If I step on the mat and my strength is not getting me what I want, that belief or that person is stronger than me, that belief has been taken from me. So that's why, the more you can hide it, the better. So obviously the next one down would be like, well, I'm the toughest, right? So toughness is a little bit harder to take from you because it's effort-based, but still, if you generate your motivation and your culture and your belief system on, you have 100% fight and effort, as long as you believe you're the toughest wrestler, well, if this guy is staying in the fight and starting to get tough, and that belief can start to dwindle. So again, something that can't be touched. So creating that belief is the first piece of the puzzle. You have to find something like that can't be taken from you. So and it can be pieced together, right? So the base is the general. So for me, my identity and my faith is the culture of everything. It's the base of everything, and that's how I view my my self-worth, all that stuff. Now, is it perfect all the time? No. Do I get frustrated? Do I see myself worth? Do I dip my self-worth in other buckets? Yes. But for the most part, I can rile myself back to the underlying belief that I have a faith that is stronger than any one circumstance that can happen. So once then you can cake on things like, I'm also a person that will never put my head down. I'm also a person that will never quit. I'm also a person that won't get punked, as a human. So whether you're better than me at wrestling, I will not let you, disrespect me. I'm also a person who is a master of technique. I understand everything. So whether I can execute it in every situation, that's a different story, but I'm a master of technique. I know so much technique that there's never a moment I am questioning what I should be doing. You know, I am the hardest worker. I'm first one in, last one out. So all those things you can cake on, but your overall base of your culture, your belief system has to be something that can't be taken from you. And so once that happens, to build it, you have to truly submit that everything that can happen is not as important as maintaining that truth of that culture. So what I mean is, no matter what the outcome, you have built your culture on truth. No matter what the outcome, you can't abandon ship. So if something goes wrong and you lose, or you have a bad performance, or you have a pocket where your performance dips for a while, or a slump, you can't start panicking and trying to find something else to motivate you. You have to trust in that belief, and you have to, above all else, understand that that's who you are. Now, whether or not you portrayed yourself as what you thought you were, or what you would have liked in this particular moment or that particular moment, that's another story. There's a lot of reasons why performance is good or bad, but as far as the belief and your identity, it has to be consistent. It has to be more important than anything else you or anyone else sees about your circumstances. And so that's, once you have that culture, again, like I said, the actual visual, you know, what people see and what you put out might not be, you know, congruent with that. So what do you do when criticism comes along? What do you do when people start doubting you? When people start saying, well, you say this and you do this, or hey, this guy, we just need a different guy. This isn't the guy, you know? So a lot of times, I mean, I hear that a lot. It's very easy, especially when you're trying to make world teams. You know, you make up world teams, your performance dips one year, and even to the best. I've heard of people say about Jordan Burroughs, you know? The year he goes from gold to bronze, 5-time world champ, gets bronze. We need someone else in there. We need someone else in there? Like, who? He beat everyone in the country. Like, you just want to give someone else the spot just because on today someone didn't fit your standard of performance? So, but all that stuff, it can affect you if you don't have a strong culture. So you build the culture on a belief. And then when that stuff comes, don't be so quick to argue. Don't be so quick to argue or defend yourself. When you defend yourself, when you argue, when you try to belittle people that come at you, like, I know one of the big ones in the wrestling world is like, well, that guy's criticizing me, what has he ever done? Probably nothing. But for you to win the argument is not as important as for you to absorb the criticism and talk yourself out of it. Your culture should be enough. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to win an argument. You don't need to make fun of, oh, that guy's sitting behind his desk, probably never wrestled a day in his life. Probably not. But guess what? You live in a country where freedom of speech exists, and people are going to say crazy stuff. And if everyone becomes an internal argument of trying to get it, or make sure that my argument fits this better than him, so I have more people on my side than his, you're going to be swayed like a reed in the wind, this way and that way. So if you truly want to be a master of your thoughts, when criticism comes, absorb it. It might be true. Hey, he sucked that day. I sucked that day. But instead of arguing about and trying to get somebody, hey, make sure you guys still believe I don't suck. You know, that was just a one-time thing. You don't have to defend yourself. Absorb, and then once it's internal, speak truth to yourself. Speak the right truth to yourself, and get yourself to a place where I'm unaffected by it. I'm unaffected by it, because it's going to happen all the time. Even the best ever, right? Even the best athletes ever, someone's saying, they're not that good. You always have people really excited to knock people off of pedestals, and that's just how the world works. They want the next guy to be the greatest, and then once that guy is the greatest, screw that guy, the next guy, right? That's just how it works. So you can't be affected by that stuff. You have to fight for the right thoughts, absorb the criticism in a way that it doesn't affect you, be able to talk yourself out of it. You have to be self-sustaining in your culture and your motivation. So, easier said than done, but good luck and God bless.